Frogman Friday.
Yeah, boy.
Welcome to Frogman Friday. I'm Ryan Birdman Parrott. Today, our badass guest is Jason Kuhn. He served 8 years as a Navy SEAL, exiting service as a Petty Officer First Class. He founded Stonewall Solutions in 2014 in Nashville, Tennessee. You can follow Jason on social media, handles to follow the show. To learn more about Stonewall Solutions, go check out stonewall-solutions.com. Brother, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I appreciate being on.
Yeah, man. We've been trying to get him on for a long time. He's just been turning and burning with all kinds of media exposure because he's killing it right now. So why don't you take us back to exiting service? Why did you found this company? What led you to do this? And what are you doing today?
Yeah, to be honest, it all kind of started by accident. I had gotten involved with a security company with some guys who had very, very good backgrounds, but for various reasons we failed in our attempt to start a domestic security type business. And one of those got involved with the Vanderbilt football team and asked if I would come speak to the team and run them through some team building drills. I had 2 days to prepare for it. Myself and another former team guy put it together, went out there, ran it, had a great time. And it ended in kind of a mosh pit dog pile style kind of thing. Everybody was excited, and having had a background in sports, playing college baseball prior to the Navy, I was excited again. I felt alive and fulfilled again. And I had been kind of drifting and directionless since I left the Navy, had a bit of a rough transition. So I thought, I wonder, one, is this going to be beneficial for people? Can I help them learn how to perform better through my experiences in war and in training, and then some of my failures in college sports? And then two, can I monetize it? Is it something people will pay for? So that's where the idea was born. And that was in the fall of 2014. And we've just been building it ever since.
Oh my gosh. It's so cool when you hear a story like that, when it just comes out of searching and then all of a sudden it just lands right in your lap and it comes right back to you prior to the Navy. That's pretty sweet. So what do you do at Stonewall Solutions?
Well, what we do is we create, re-increase human performance through the fundamentals of mindset and team first culture. And, that's it in a nutshell. But I will come in, I give keynote presentations and speak to teams. I used to be primarily athletics. In fact, it used to be exclusively athletics. And now it's transitioned. It's mostly corporate groups now. Obviously, my involvement with Tyler Matzik and the Atlanta Braves and the exposure there, that has kind of created another shift. We've been getting a lot more calls for sports teams. But typically, I'll do a keynote presentation anywhere from 20 to 30, 40 minutes, introducing a few of the concepts, and then we'll follow up with that to go through the rest. Or we'll do a half-day seminar-style training, and we'll go through all 14 principles. I call them the fundamentals of winning. And with sports teams, I designed a workout program where I extrapolated some of the training principles from BUD/S, but made them applicable to sports. So it's positive, it's challenging, and it's hard, but it's positive in nature. I'm not there to try to make people quit or find out how tough they are. It's to put intangible skills into application. So you learn it through education in the classroom, and then we go run through some of the drills. And the way I explain it is, if I were to ask a coach how to tackle, how to hit a baseball, whatever it may be, how to run a play, we're going to draw it on the board, we're going to talk about it, but then we're going to go out on the field and drill it over and over and over again. So what I did was I created drills where I'll put players in unfair situations, and situations where they're going to fail, leaders into proactive roles, and situations where they have to work together to accomplish tasks and be mentally tough and shift focus. And so those drills are designed to put them in those situations to practice intangible skills and get those honed in nice and solid before the season hits. So we do that with sports team. I have run a corporate group or two through it as well. And, it's fun for everyone.
That's interesting. So you've run the corporate group through the physical side of the house as well?
Just a couple of them. Most of the time, it's just keynote presentations, breakout sessions, and seminar style training with corporate groups. But I have put one or two through some drills, and they've gone well. Or we go somewhere and we do something else to apply them. Maybe we play airsoft or paintball, or go driving or whatever it may be. But anything that we do, the team's going to come together by doing something that is outside of their comfort zone, a little bit challenging, and then I'll just incorporate these skills into whatever event it is we decide to do after all the talking's over with.
Okay. So is this just you running this, or you have a team? How's that work?
Yeah, it's just me. I say we because I do bring guys in from time to time to help me out if it's a large group and it's a complicated event. Most of the time, the events are very simple. I like simple. Simple is effective. And so, yeah, most of the time, it's just me running the events.
Okay. So you travel all around the country for this, whether it be corporate or athletic or sports performance. And you'll either do keynote speeches or you do half day to full day seminars that do physical and classroom work.
Yeah, all over the country. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee right now, working with Farragut Baseball. Worked with them several times throughout the years, one of the best teams in the state. So give them a little bit of love since I'm with them today. But yeah, I travel all over the country doing this, and just have a blast getting to meet all sorts of different people, all sorts of different leaders in different environments, small businesses to huge corporations to defense contractors to the Department of Homeland Security, you name it. So it's fun.
That's incredible that you were able to pull this together outside of the Navy. I know a lot of guys get out and they're trying to figure out what they should do. Some go work for corporate America. Some try and fail. Some try and succeed at building their own company. But to be able to get out there and to be able to get as much traction as you have so quickly, I applaud you, bro. That's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think the idea was, I didn't have a lot of business acumen coming out of the teams, pricing, marketing, all that stuff. I didn't even have social media. I didn't know how any of that stuff worked. But I thought after I ran that first one, I thought if this is effective for people, that'll take care of itself. I'll figure it out as I go. And so that was my primary goal, was to help, in the sports world, to help teams win games and win championships. And in the corporate world to, see some sort of measure in their increase in performance, whether that's sales, revenue, you name it, but help increase their performance and fulfillment and what they're doing. And if it's effective for people and they're taking skills that they can apply from these training events, apply to their professional lives and their personal lives, then it will, like I said, it'll work itself out. And that's what has happened. And that's the idea behind it. I had some real reservations with sharing my backgrounds in the teams publicly, but I had to establish some sort of credibility with folks in order to get a foot in the door, right? So I look at it like this: like, one, is it classified? If it is, I don't talk about it. Two, does it bring embarrassment or expose vulnerability to the teams? If that's part of it, then I don't share it. And then three, am I telling a story about an experience in war or whatever it is for self-glorification, or is it to share lessons learned through that story in order to help other people succeed, and keeping the details at a minimum if they're not necessary? So that's the approach and my own personal criteria I use by sharing it. And so it's all lessons learned, and there's some nuts and bolts there in terms of performance that I think are very, very effective for people. But I do tend to keep kind of a behind the scenes approach as I do it, but you'll see the feedback from the clients that I've worked with that this does work for them. And I think that's what has kept me going throughout the years is, I've had high school teams go from 6-5, a football team, to 29 wins in a row, Max Prep's #1 team in the nation, and several stories like that. And it's been really, really fun to be a part of those things. I'm a small part of it. I'm not the only piece of that. You got to have all the pieces in play. But when they're there and I get to be a part of amazing gains like that, it's incredibly fulfilling.
That's important. I mean, that's big news, though. I mean, you're talking about spending just a fraction of time with these cats and seeing that development, that growth right out of the gate. I mean, there's something there, man. So give me this, you've got this. I mean, you're turning to burn, so it's just almost a stupid question for me to ask right now, but where do you see this going? Where do you want to take it? Do you have a 10-year goal of like something else you want to bring on, or what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I need to sit down and strategize a little bit more myself. I'm at the 7-year mark, and I think our lives kind of tend to work in those 7-year gaps, where you make these transitions. And that's right where I'm at. So I think the future is going to go from less of the workout programs and the on-field application drills with high school and college teams, although that's a lot of fun. I'm turning 42 soon. I've got quite a few injuries from being banged around back in the day. And, I'm not quite as resilient physically as I used to be, being on the road, dragging a trailer and equipment around. There were times where I would go down in the Southeast from campus to campus to campus 2 or 3 week period before I would come back home. And as I said, I loved it, but these drills are long, the classes are long, and I would be pretty smoked by the end of it. So where I see it going now is getting more on the consulting side, where some companies have hired me to, where I teach these 14 principles. Just like in the gym, to really make gains, you've got to train consistently and periodically. And I think the same thing with mindset, to really hone in mindset skills and team first culture skills and leadership skills. You've got to train them consistently and periodically. And, you gain one, master it, and move into the next. And that's what this training is designed to do. It's a linear progression. You learn one, and that will help you make use of the next one as you go. And that helps keep it retainable. And so with some of these companies, we'll learn one in a month, and then we'll move on to the next one. By the end of that year, I don't try to, have any gimmicks to keep me around, just have them recommend me to someone they do business with that will help them, if they perform better. And that's where I see it. So I'd really like to lock into a few teams, probably some Major League Baseball teams and some business teams, where I'm working with them with regular engagements. And that is ongoing. I do have that going right now. Not necessarily with a major league team, but I do have some retainer contracts going. And that's where I see it going as I get older. And then perhaps maybe I can turn the athletic side over to someone else, train them up and get them because I really want this material out there to the teenagers because they're impressionable. And I think right now they need it more than ever. So I want to find ways where I can still stay involved with the high schools, but I myself am going to have to, shift direction a little bit.
There's no question. The busier you get, the more of you're going to need, no question. So let me ask you a question. So you mentioned that you obviously got corporate side and then you get your baseball side, and obviously being a collegiate baseball player, obviously ties there. Do you cross-pollinate over to other sports teams or genres?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Football, work with a lot of football teams, University of Florida football, back in 2019. Work with a lot of women's soccer. They spit blood, man. Women's soccer players, especially in college, they're tough as they come. They're really fun to work with. Basketball, quite a bit of basketball, a little bit of volleyball, but yeah, all sorts of a lot of lacrosse teams enjoy this training. So yeah, you name it. I'll work with anyone. Just about anyone. The reason why is because I think that combat is a competitive environment. The stakes are life and death. They're at the highest, But I believe the principles that make us successful, as far as the intangible principles go, transcend competitive environments. Corporate, sales is a competitive environment, baseball is a competitive environment. So those skill sets are the fundamentals of mindset and a team first attitude and leadership skills. I think they transcend competitive environments. Now, certainly some of them are more relevant than others according to which environment you're operating in, but I believe they are all applicable. And what combat does is it eliminates the clutter. When it comes to a way to think or a way to interact with each other in culture or how to do things, efficiency is all that matters. Obviously the military can be extremely bureaucratic, but when you get into those smaller groups, and certainly when bullets start flying, all that matters is efficiency. Something is either effective or it's not. And in other competitive environments, we have the luxury for, to not be that way because life and death is not at stake. But if we can identify, a common mission to serve and things like that, then and make that more important than the emotional barriers of our differences, so on and so forth, and execute these principles in the same way, they're effective. So it's a matter of just breaking that down. Every story that I tell in the presentations, I use it as a proof of concept. If I assert, hey, you should be mentally tough by shifting your focus off of the adversity and into the process and the people around you, I want to use a war story to prove that assertion is true. And then we're going to make a translation to whatever that environment is, whether it's volleyball, soccer, baseball, sales, you name it.
Super, super cool, man. I love that because I was asked to speak quite a bit when I got out. And first of all, I hate speaking, period. Just garbage would come out of my mouth. And I'm like, I just don't feel comfortable. And I'm like, this is not my style. It's not what I want to do. So I'm going to be bad at it. But ultimately realizing that your voice is your most powerful weapon and used correctly with thought and detail, you can actually show people and give people, and they can bypass the mistakes that you make or have made over the years. So I started to learn, and I still suck, but that's my 2 cents on it. So let's shift gears for a second. I want to hear about something. I do this for every Frogman. Tell us about either a leader you had or somebody who gave their life for this country that you want to honor today.
Oh man, I would. Well, as far as somebody I'd like to honor who's given their life for the country, the first person that comes to mind when you ask that question is Alex Ghani. He was a buds class just behind mine, but when he was in redshirt rollback land, we spent a lot of time together. His story is just super cool, how he came into the teams, and you can Google it and look it up. He was killed in training at Shaw's a while back. I'm not sure if you knew Alex or not, but just always smiling, such a good dude and a great attitude. And he was the first teammate that I was close to or had a relationship that was killed. I was still a new guy, had not deployed yet when that happened, and kind of the reality of, hey, this is what you're getting into settled in, and but I certainly love to honor him. And what was the other question?
That was it. It's just either a hero or a mentor. So whatever you want.
Oh man, yeah, a mentor would be, I don't know if he'd want me to say his name or not publicly, but my OIC and Buds, one of them, and then it turned out to be my OIC at a teammate was just amazing, just an amazing guy, and the reason, some of the reasons why I respect him so much, I probably shouldn't say on camera here, but he was the, I give the officers a hard time. I was an enlisted guy, especially the Naval Academy guys, but that dude was a straight up war fighter and an awesome leader and an awesome mentor for me that I can't say enough about, as well as my platoon chief, Chewy. And a lot of people will know who Chewy is without me saying his full name. So just another incredible impact on me and my career and life.
Right on, brother. Well, I'll tell you what, I never met Alex Ghani, but my last deployment, which was my third deployment to Iraq in 2009, I actually was stationed in Basra, and it was called Camp Alex Ghani. So we get to know about it, and it was just, I know about him and get to name the base, and with my very own eyes, I watched it. So that was really cool because one of my seniors, actually, my senior chief knew him.
Okay.
So he was honored in Basra, Iraq, and the whole base was named after him. So that's awesome. Pretty cool. Yeah, man. Good. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I know you're busy. I appreciate you being on today. I want everybody to go check out Jason Kuhn. I want to go check out Stonewall Solutions. You're going to go check out stonewall-solutions.com. This handle will be on this after the video. And stay on for a second afterwards. Let's keep chatting for a sec. But thanks for everything, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And anything I can do to support, let me know.
You got it, man. Be well.